Go. Hello, guys. Happy Monday. It's Monday. I forgot what day it was. It's been a Monday all day. Let's give it a second and catch up. How are you, Awen?
I'm doing good. It has been a Monday. We have not stopped since we woke up with news today. My
No,
goodness.
nope. Y'all, I stayed up on Twitter till 2:30, refreshing that button, hoping they would find her last night.
Yep, I was
Last
really
night was
kind of
the
sure that they would. And my husband had to take my phone away so I would go to bed because I couldn't stop checking.
I kept on and kept on. It was the longest day of the year. Happy summer. And I thought, even if it's just 2 minutes longer, whatever it is, I was like, that's two more minutes of daylight. Just
Hmm.
hoping. The rumor is, um, well, not rumor, Midwest EquiSearch was called in yesterday and they are here. I do know that they are here. The rumor is Tim Miller is here, but I've seen zero evidence of that. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying I haven't confirmed that he's here. He is EquiSearch, but he's usually with Texas EquiSearch, and they're linked. But just because they called in Midwest doesn't mean Tim Miller's here. I hope he's here. I don't know. He's like my Captain America.
Yep, he
For
does feel
time
like that.
sake.
He gets things done. He has the right motivation. He is just the man to call if
Yeah,
there's a child in trouble. There is. So
I just love
Tim
Tim.
Miller is the founder of Texas EquiSearch. And they search all over the country for
Yeah.
missing children, and they are incredibly effective. And Tim Miller is one heck of a guy. So yeah, get to know Tim. He's pretty darn amazing. So I'm hoping he's there. I just feel better about everything if he was there. So
Yeah, I do live in the area. I'm in Knoxville, and this is in Rogersville, outside of Kingsport. It's about an hour and a half north of me. So what we know so far as the search is going, they have called in Georgia, which did surprise me. North Carolina didn't surprise me because it's like 30 to 45 minutes away from the state line. Virginia is a stone throw away. So Virginia's been called in, and Kentucky's come in, which is also about 45 minutes away. So I know all four of those states and the entire state of Tennessee has been called in, as far as all of the search and rescue groups statewide have been called in. Yesterday, they said there was, 70 agencies at that point.
70. Yep.
And then I know they called in EquiSearch. So I don't know who else has come in. Yesterday, they had a group, cave rescue group come in
Hmm.
that specializes in mines, caves, any kind of that. A lot of people don't know, but Tennessee has the biggest cave system in the United States. We have complete underground caves here that are humongous. Humongous. You want to know where I live? Go look up Lost Sea. I grew up from 15 minutes from that. If you go Google the Lost Sea, it's like one of the largest underground cave lakes. It's a humongous lake. It's like a touristy thing down in Monroe County, but that's where I grew up, Monroe County, Tennessee. Um, so yeah, that was the long answer to yeah, I'm in the area. I'm an hour and a half away. Um, but just to kind of go over the basics of the thing, this is Summer Wells. She's been missing for. We are going to show the press conference. Awen is watching it, so if I miss it, it's going to be streamed here. So we're keeping our
Yep.
eyes on that. Summer Wells is 5 years old, 40 pounds, blonde haired, blue eyed, cute little girl. Her parents reported her missing at 6:30 Tuesday. The story is they went swimming Tuesday morning. Summer, a family friend, teenager, and her mom. There are photos of said trip to the swimming hole. I mean, it's what it looks like. It's not a pool or anything where they go swimming. So that's documented, in my opinion. There are pictures from that day. They dropped off said teenager, and he says at 2 o'clock, yep, Summer was still alive and well when they dropped me off at 2 o'clock. Dad is supposed to be at work about an hour away from home. She's at home with brothers. She has three brothers, grandma. and mother. Grandma lives on the property too. Grandma, mom, and Summer, and one of the boys, Hunter, I believe, were planting flowers, gardening, whatever. Um, and then Grandma and Mom went to whatever where Grandma's at on the property, and Summer went back to the house. The brothers were inside playing on the computer. They said Summer went down in the basement. And then when Mom came in the house, I guess to cook dinner, Summer was gone. She called Dad. Dad said, "Hang up the phone. I'm on my way home. Call 911." So the dispatch call came in at 6:30, saying that she was missing. Did I miss anything? That's basics. Um, the area around their house. This is very, very rural Tennessee in the mountains. I mean, you're talking about this is on the edge of the Smoky Mountains. This place is complete green. I mean, that's all you see. There's a clearing in the aerial photo of her house. Her house is in the middle of a small clearing, and then it's just woods. I mean, it is just woods. So they haven't let the public help in any of the searches. They've only used the agencies that they've called in, law enforcement professionals, because they're afraid people will get hurt because this is a nasty place to be. And the first 24 hours, it took them the 24 hours to search a mile around her house. But now they said they've covered 2,400 miles altogether. Obviously, that's not in depth. There's no way. But they've brought in canines, they've brought in helicopters, and not last night, but the night before last, they were still up at 2 o'clock in the morning with spotlights on the helicopters. They've also been using fixed wing planes to help search too.
Yep. All right, we have a couple of questions from chat. First one, any idea why someone would go down into the basement and why would they not react?
Because the basement of this house is being utilized as bedrooms. It's not a very big house. Her bedroom is actually in the basement.
It's not a basement so much as the lower level of the home.
Right.
Think of it that way. They call it a basement.
It's not it's a house with a walkout basement on the bottom. So that whole end of the house is open. They go out that door. Mm-hmm. So that's not unusual.
Yep. The next question, let me get back to it. Algo missed the explanation about the last sighting. You want to go over the swimming hole thing real quick?
They went swimming Tuesday morning. Summer, her mother, I think her brother went too, and a family friend who was a teenager. They dropped off the teenager at 2 o'clock, and according to him, he says Summer was alive and well at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So then they went home, and Grandma and Mom, Hunter and Summer, were planting flowers in the yard. Grandma and Mom were then going to go to where Grandma's located on the property. And Summer, her mother said the last time she saw Summer was walking back to the house. And then the boys, her brothers, who were in the house, were playing on the computer. And they said they saw Summer go down to play with her toys down in the basement.
Right. The next question, anything to confirm or deny the dog tracking to the end of the driveway rumors?
I've seen it. I haven't heard it from law enforcement. Maybe they'll cover that today. We can talk about that for a second. In my opinion, that's not a bad thing. It's not necessarily suspicious. Could she have been abducted? Yeah. If the dog tracked her down to the end of the driveway and it disappears, yeah, she could be abducted. But the more probable explanation would be she went down to the mailbox, checked the mail, and went back home. Right. You don't even know that scent was from that day. I mean, that could be completely innocent. I'm not saying it is. I don't know one way or the other. I'm just saying that's another explanation for they lost scent of her at the end of the driveway.
Yep. And Clancy has a question about the grandma's trailer. He said, I understand the grandma's trailer is around 20 feet from theirs. Yeah, they have a house, a brick foundation house or cement foundation house. And then like across a little street sort of thing is the grandma's trailer. So she's right there, right next to the home.
Right. Yep.
Right, I'm just double checking on our website. I'm going to send you a link to one who's got the live stream ready. Okay. There's nothing live on it, but it is airing now. So as soon as it goes live, if you want to get onto that might be a good one. The first one to stream that I've seen that's live already. We don't want to miss a single second of this. So I've got like 12 websites open, like waiting for the first one to put up the stream.
I mean, we're not going to hear that they found her. Like that would have been breaking news.
Yeah.
But I would like an update on what they're doing, if they're changing anything. Have they, come up with anything? There were some. Okay, it's not news. There were some rumors about somebody in the area trying to abduct another little girl. Those were valid. That went out on Facebook. People in the community was like, hey, keep an eye out for this. I think it was a red car. And these were the people that were inside. But that man was picked up before Summer went missing. So in my opinion, that's not valid at this point.
And he was also picked up for trying to abduct a boy, a young boy.
Oh, that's right. It was a boy,
yeah.
A little girl. There was something else that I wanted to talk. Oh, CPS. The mom posted on Facebook before Summer disappeared, almost a week, 4 or 5 days before Summer disappeared, was cussing and yelling at somebody who supposedly called CPS. I don't have evidence that CPS has ever been involved in this family other than that. And I don't know the circumstances of that either. Are they live? Is that what you're saying?
That's a news website. I wouldn't stream that yet, but if they cut to the live, it's just another source. So I'll let you know.
But we do know CPS is on site now. The dad did an interview yesterday. The authorities have completely blocked off this property, and they are there. They are there all the time. So what does that tell us? Number one, it tells us that CPS is at least there now because there's a missing little girl. This is an active investigation, and CPS is there. So what can we get from that that's not a CPS report? Number one, they have not removed the rest of the kids from that property, which tells me it might not be. Okay.
We're live. On the YouTube one that I linked you.
The first one or the second one?
Wait, hold on. The second one there, that was a mic test. Hold on, we may not be actually live yet, so. Sorry, false alarm.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Copy link. To me, that says they don't think these kids are in immediate danger and they're being abused. In my opinion, that's what that says. If they have still let the rest of those kids stay there, you know that there's not drugs laying out on the counter or bad bruises from beatings going on. CPS would have removed the other kids by now, in my opinion. Oh. Okay, you tell me when that goes live.
Okay.
So there's that. Sorry, I'm new at this streaming thing. I'm trying to make sure this is going to open right whenever it's time to go. So that's a good thing. I know a lot of people are really giving the parents a lot of grief right now. Summer looks, in my opinion, like a very rambunctious, tomboyish little girl. The pictures that people say are bruises, I'm not going to say they're not bruises. I don't know. But by looking at them, you can't tell that they're child abuse bruises. I mean, if she's a rough and tumble outside kind of kid, it could simply be that. But, I just don't know. I'm going to show you guys the interview from the dad from yesterday after we stream this other thing, because I don't want to get in the middle of that and be caught over in the other thing. But
okay, the first website I linked to is just about to be live. They're showing, now they're showing the forecast. So, all right, never mind.
Yeah, that's another thing that's getting ready to come in. This tropical storm Claudette is getting ready to kick our tail all the way up here tonight. That is not going to be good for search efforts, because I don't even think the professionals will be able to search in that mess tonight, to be honest, which is very sad. This is day 6. It's not looking good, guys.
Yeah. Another question from chat. Do you want to explain why her head was shaved? Because that's creating a lot of confusion.
She had a loss problem, apparently. As simple as that can be.
Yeah.
You can take from that what you want. She had lice and they shaved it. Some of her brothers have shaved heads too. In my own, personal experience, my little boys used to want shaved heads, and so they used to call it Buzz Day, the last day of school, because I wouldn't let them shave their heads or do this little mohawk thing like Noah used to like. Waited till the last day of school, and they came home and they were all excited about shaving their heads in the summertime. I don't understand it, but there's that. Um, I don't. Yeah, she had her head shaved. I don't. You can read into it or not. I don't really know how else to frame
Yeah.
it. And I'm not taking up for the parents. I mean, I'm not saying they're innocent. I have no idea. But
All right, we're live.
reading, okay, here we go, guys. Wish me luck. Share screen. Share
You-
audio
Yes.
on tab. I'm pretty sure this is it. Is it this one?
The
Yeah.
Is that the YouTube
Okay.
channel? Yeah.
Yeah, let me just refresh it since it's live so we don't start it over.
Yeah, and back it up maybe about 20 seconds.
Disappearance have been
Okay.
identified and interviewed. While we've not ruled out an abduction, we simply do not have any evidence at this point to confirm that's what occurred. For that reason,
And we can make it full screen so that
disappearance
people can hear it.
identified and interviewed.
There
While
we go.
we've not ruled out an abduction, we simply do not have any evidence at this point to confirm that's what occurred. For that reason, the ground search for Summer continues. It's possible that she wandered off and is lost and afraid. Sheriff Ronnie Lawson is going to talk more about what we need from property owners at this point. Sheriff?
Thank you. First of all, I want to let everyone know that what a big asset that Mount Carmel Baptist Church has been to us. They've opened their doors, their church, their fellowship hall, their land. As y'all see, this is a very remote area, and we would be in desperate trouble if we didn't have that place to set up our command post. With that said, we're using every available resource that we have, and today I want to use you all. I want the word to get out to all the residents in the Upper Beach Creek community, Hawkins County and Sullivan County. We need the residents to go back today, tonight, tomorrow, as soon as possible, and go back and check their entire property, any outbuildings, any barns, any place a child could hide. We desperately need you to do that for us. It's easier for you to check your own property than it is to send officers there. We have not stopped. As Captain will tell you, we've been 24/7 for 6 days now. So we desperately need help from the community now searching their own property. Any question? Okay, Captain.
Thank you, Sheriff. As both of them have stated, we will continue to search for Summer Wells until we locate Summer Wells. As of June 21st, 2021, search and rescue efforts for missing 5-year-old Summer Wells will continue throughout the day and also the night. At this point, we have utilized 72 agencies from Tennessee, Ohio, Virginia, Alabama, Georgia, and North Carolina assisting in these search efforts. Numerous specialized search and rescue groups and canine teams have been represented from these multiple different agencies. To date, we have estimated approximately 2,400 acres have been searched since Tuesday night when she was reported missing. The rugged mountainous terrain continues to cause problems and slow the search operations at times. The search will continue Tuesday morning into Wednesday morning. An updated release will be issued as new information becomes available. And as stated before, if anyone has any information on the disappearance of Summer Wells, please contact Hawkins County Sheriff's Department and our 1-800-TBA fine. Thank you.
We'll open it up for a few questions at this time.
Just wondering, has Summer ever wandered off before?
According to family members, it's not common for her to wander off.
Which Saturday there was a pretty extensive search into the evening. Can you elaborate on what that tip was and why there was such a large presence for crews to come back out?
Anytime we have information that could potentially lead us to locating Summer, we're going to use all resources. Crews were in the area following up on a lead. Unfortunately, Summer's still missing.
How is the changing weather impacting your search?
Sure, that's a great question. Captain Coop, can you explain?
So the projected forecast here for the next 24 to 48 hours will change our approach. It will not change our aggressive approach. The only thing that this will change, it will change maybe what terrain we approach at this time. Due to severe thunderstorms, we can't put our teams in danger to turn around and maximize the situation. We are monitoring weather 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with live weather updates. We are also utilizing the National Weather Service, who calls us on a routine basis. If there's any type of weather that's approaching our immediate area, they have been more than helpful with notifying us in a very timely manner to allow us to know to we can plan on how we're going to approach these areas.
Talking about the weather, is there a concern about some of these crews from other areas having to go back to their area to respond to storms there?
Speaking with some of these teams, especially the teams that have been coming out of state, traveling 4+ hours, they also have had to do what we've had to do is utilize as much resources as we can to find summer wells, but we still have to be able to cover our areas. So a lot of these people, they're still allowing people to stay back. When these crews from out of town then return, they'll swap out. Those crews will then monitor their areas and send us fresh crews, and we are doing the same thing for our resources here locally.
Do we know when the active search will potentially turn into a recovery mode instead of a potential rescue mode?
Let's elaborate on that.
We will address that at some point, but right now our focus remains on finding Summer. We're using all resources as of today, and we want that to be the focus right now.
This is a question more for maybe Leslie and Sheriff Lawson. You just mentioned that you have used some surveillance video, things that you had asked for earlier in the week. Can you elaborate what you saw in that surveillance video and how that might have helped you?
Well, as you know, and you guys helped us get the word out, we asked residents to let us know if they had surveillance cameras around their home or trail cameras. Residents have reached out. We've reviewed those photos and video, and if we identified a vehicle in the video, we would identify the driver and then speak with the driver to interview them to see if they had any information.
How long, when someone typically goes missing, how long does it take to find them? Like, is this exceptionally long?
Every case is different. It's a case-by-case situation.
On day 6 now, for maybe the folks that are out there in the field, how are you keeping, I guess, morale and spirits high? How are, I'm sure folks are tired, they've been out here tirelessly for days on end now. How are you kind of keeping folks engaged and spirits up?
Ultimately, the people that's involved with the search operations, we all have the same outlook. We will not quit until we find Summer wells. So these guys have spent countless hours, day in, day out, nighttime. The thing that I stress with my guys is if you're getting to the point that you're getting tired, please take a break, get rest, rehab, recover. That way you can come back and continue to go stronger. It is a large family with law enforcement involved. We keep each other's spirits up. It's all a team effort. And to elaborate on it, a lot of times you guys being up here, you start seeing a lot of people leave at the evening time. At the evening time, it is too treacherous and too dangerous unless TBI or Sheriff's Department gets a lead that they need us to go help assist on. Too dangerous for us to keep our guys up in these mountains in this treacherous terrain at nighttime. But I want you guys to know and rest assured, along with the community, that search efforts do not stop when it gets dark. We have been utilizing fixed wing and aerial aviation to literally scan this area from the time it gets dark to the time that we return in the morning. It does not quit. They utilize multiple resources, FLIR, and other things to continually map this area and to continue the search for summer wells.
This is a question more for Sheriff Lawson. I know we talked a lot about there's two different operations going on, Find Summer as well as the investigation. Is there more on the investigation side that you can tell us into anything that you talked with family members or anyone who last saw her since we last spoke on Friday?
We've interviewed so many people in the community on the road, and we're still jointly working with TBI and the FBI, and everything is really going real well. We cover each other's tracks, go back and re-interview, and like Captain said, and Leslie, we're not going to stop till we find something.
How is her family doing? I mean, this is going into day 7. Tomorrow will be day 7 since their child has gone missing and no leads in this massive search operation. How is her family holding up? Have you spoken with her parents? How are they doing?
We've spoken with her parents. I can't speak for them. They spoke with you. They're being cooperative. Of course, they're upset. So we continue to keep them updated and do whatever possible we can to find Summer. And we just ask everyone in the community, especially those of you who have any tidbit of information that you haven't shared, to please come forward. Her family asks that as well.
And last week, you also talked a little bit about speculation and social media rumors. Has that continued to get worse over the weekend? And is that continued to maybe even cause hindrances?
Sure, it's always a battle. We ask residents with credible information to call 1-800-TBI-FIND and submit tips through that avenue. We find that we're receiving a lot of tips that is a screenshot from Facebook. It's an opinion or speculation. That's not a credible tip, and it just bogs down the system, as I've mentioned before. So please only share credible information. Someone's opinion or idea on Facebook is not a credible tip. Did you have a question? Okay.
Has the family been ruled out? I know they said that they understood you investigating them and interviewing them. Have they been ruled out at this time or still?
As we've said time and time again, the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance are very much under investigation. And at this time, we continue to explore all possibilities. Okay. Thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate the continuing coverage. We appreciate the community and all their support. And again, I can't stress enough, anyone with information is asked to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Thank you.
All right, the TBI concluding their update for today, Monday afternoon.
All right.
I was muted. I'm terrible. Let me turn this off. Sorry. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected to hear. I think if you try to read, I don't know, what did you get out of that?
I got a couple of things. Number one, law enforcement comes out and says they are not focusing their investigation on the abduction theory. They don't do that unless they have a good reason not to do that. Okay, so I'm going to trust law enforcement here when they say they're not really thinking that she was abducted. All right, now look how many people they have they're searching. 72 agencies from multiple states. Where he lists 5 different states. There are thousands of law enforcement, first responders there searching for this girl in the woods. That's where they think she is. They would not do that if they didn't really think that's where she was. All right, so trust law enforcement. They even mention all the Facebook rumors and stuff, and they say, please don't call us with these rumors from Facebook. Stop it. All right. Yeah. So trust what law enforcement is telling you. These people want to find her more than anything. They really do. They're not going to mislead the public. They're not going to ignore credible rumors or credible information. They're not going to do that. But if they're telling you, we don't really think it was an abduction, we think she wandered off into the woods and we are trying to find her, trust them that they have good reason to think that. They know 10 times more than we do. So, and remember, CPS is on site at the house. They're looking at the other kids. The kids are obviously okay, or they would have been removed. And, let's focus more on what law enforcement is saying as opposed to what we see on Facebook. And that was their big message.
Yeah, that's what I got out of that. For anybody who thinks, in my opinion, the timeline is really kind of permanent. If everybody's telling the truth, and that law enforcement has taken mom and dad's phone, any GPS on any kind of vehicles, that they've got that. They've had that. If dad really wasn't at work that day, He flat out says that his wife called him at a specific time and he said, I'm on my way home, call the police. And we have an exact timestamp of a dispatch call. If he was not where he was supposed to be when that phone call was made, if that phone call was never made, any of that stuff, they know that's not true by now. They
Right.
do. So, in my opinion, the timeline is really permanent in my brain. They only had 4.5 hours between the time they dropped off the teenager after swimming and the time dispatch was called. Dad said the police were already at the house when he pulled in from work. So there's not a period of time, if he really was gone, that Dad, Dad was at the house.
Yep.
Mom has a knee brace on. So, and Mom and Grandma don't look that spry, in my opinion. If you really think that Mom and Grandma have killed this little girl, they have done it and gotten rid of her body in 4 hours. And we have 70 agencies from 6 states? Ohio, Virginia, Kentucky, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. I think Alabama was mentioned.
Yep.
So that's 7. If you really think these two masterminds pulled the wool over 70 different groups looking for this little girl, go read their Facebook page. That's all I got to say. I don't think so. Just my gut instinct is that I think the little girl is legitimately missing, like wandered off.
Yep.
And it's missing. Is my gut. Obviously, I'm not a professional. You can take my opinion with a grain of sand. I'm just not on that bandwagon of the parent witch hunt right now.
No, and somebody to go further with that, somebody was asking about, like they really should check the property. Honestly, let's think about this. Do you think the first place they didn't go over every blade of grass on that property? Every single room in that house, every single piece of carpeting, everything to look for some sign of foul play, right? And they had we know that they've had lots of dogs there. Of course, they've searched the property. There's no way that child is on that property and they didn't find her, unless these two are some kind of criminal genius masterminds, the likes which we've never seen. So if they're sending first responders out into the woods, into dangerous territory, dangerous terrain, that they've even talked about how dangerous this terrain is, that's why they won't let citizens go search, right? They're only letting professionals because it's so dangerous hiking through those woods and up those hills and things. They wouldn't send them out there if they thought maybe she was on the property. They'd still be on the property. Okay, so trust what law enforcement is doing. Trust them. They know a lot better than we do what might have happened. They know why they think that. They're not telling us. They don't have to tell us. But I trust what they're doing. And if you watch their actions, you can get an idea of what you think they know, which is they know she's somewhere in those woods.
So let's talk about something else. There's not a reward yet, guys. As a true crime content creator, unfortunately, I'm on these Facebook groups just to see what's going on, Sometimes they're helpful, most of the time they're not. But I know there are some people who say the parents are doing it for reward money. They've got her hidden and they're waiting till a big reward gets posted and they're going to try to claim it. And now they're oh crap. In my opinion, when you see these big rewards, a lot of times they're coming from the family, okay? I just don't think that's viable. The second part is when you see the amount of law enforcement involved in a case like this, especially when it's a child and their tips are going nowhere, they will offer a reward. Individual police officers will band together and donate money and offer some big pot reward because they legitimately care about who they're looking for. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen that, which tells me that with this amount of people involved, that there's not a reward. Law enforcement doesn't think she's abducted. The amount of resources they are spending to keep combing through these woods and bring in the people that they're bringing in, they don't think that the parents have done it, in my opinion. Right. They would be spreading the resources out. This is millions of dollars, what you're looking at in the search effort right now. Millions. In my opinion. Don't kill me. I'm just, and I'm not saying my opinion is any better than anybody else's. I'm not. If you feel down in your gut her parents have got something to do with it, I'm not invalidating that. I'm just giving you my gut feeling and the information that I have, what my natural instinct and the conclusions that I'm drawing. I'm not saying you guys are crazy or I have no idea where this little girl is. I know
and
that
they
I'm
did say
her
at the end of the press conference, they did say that all of those options are on the table. They are
Right.
still investigating the circumstances of her disappearance. Where did she go? Why might she have gone? If they think she wandered off in the woods, why? What happened that would have prompted her to do that? So they're still looking at it. Okay. They haven't ruled out the family yet. So, we're not saying that the family is totally innocent and da-da-da. But even law enforcement is saying, we're still looking at all that. Everything's on the table at this point. First thing we got to do is find that girl.
Yeah.
So, and they're looking where they think she might be. So,
I mean, they went swimming that morning. Do you know any little girl that's going to want to stop swimming by 2:00?
mm-mm.
I mean, I'm just saying, like thinking like a 5-year-old little girl. What could have made her wander off in the middle of the day? If she didn't want to go back home and do planting stuff, maybe she wanted to go back to the swimming thing. I think there's even water on her property. She could have went there. If you throw in the CPS was called earlier, like the week before, if mom was keyed up about, oh crap, CPS is going to be making a visit, it's not outside the realm of the possibility that mom was on edge and yelling at kids, we got to get this house cleaned up, CPS is coming, blah, 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 blah. And if she was sent in the house or the boys were sent in the house to clean up, and she was like, I don't want to do that, and headed on out when she wasn't being watched, that could be a thing. Mm-hmm. Could she have seen an animal? Like, it's early summer. Unfortunately, there are bears. There are big bears, and the bears are not afraid of people anymore around here, unfortunately. Could it have been a baby bear, a little, not a mountain lion, but one of them bobcats? That's what I'm looking for. I'm sounding a little Barrymore for you. Could it be anything? Oh, look, a kitty, and followed that. I don't know. Could she have been bit by a snake? Could she have fallen? Could she have twisted her ankle and tried to get somewhere? Could she have just gotten lost? I mean, it could be a million things. Could she be alive? God, I hope so. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, God, I hope so. I hope this is just a really bad accident and they find her and bring her home. Mm-hmm. Could it be the worst? Absolutely. I mean, I don't know one way or the other. It could be anything. If she is abducted, the fact that nobody's asked for a ransom doesn't sound good on her chances of being alive. Y'all know after 24 hours, statistically, this is not looking good.
Right.
But, I'm not trying to say one thing is off the table or not, but just giving you guys my opinion, my gut instinct. I hate it. I really hate it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are going for the family really hard. A lot of people are asking about the half-brother. The half-brother is an adult from the dads from a previous relationship. He's 34-ish. He is on the sexual offenders registry. From everything I gathered, he's in Utah. So, and the sex offender thing has been explained by family. Like I said, I don't know. I don't have any inside information. I'm getting information like you all. From what I've gathered, he was 19, had a 17-year-old girlfriend that he messed around with for a year. Her parents did not like that, and she had a pregnancy scare. She told her mom she thought she was pregnant, and the parents pressed charges. And since she was 17, it's on his record. That's what I've gathered for that. Dad does have an arrest record. When Dad was younger, he has some burglary, weapons charges because he was convicted of the burglary. He wasn't supposed to have guns and was caught with them, and some parole violations, probably also the guns because of the burglary thing. But from everything I can tell, he's been pretty straight and narrow and turned his life around from that. From somebody who doesn't know him. That's the story anyway. So I don't know. I haven't seen that the mom has an arrest record. Mom has some older kids from another relationship that were given up for adoption. I don't know that those circumstances were because they were taken away or because CPS was involved. I don't know. I don't know the circumstances on that either. Um, the sister, mom's sister is missing. They reported her missing, 2008, 2009?
2009.
She was an adult. She was an adult. She was married and she had 2 kids. She had apparently a horse accident. She fell off a horse the week before she went missing, complained about headaches, said she was going out, and never came home. She's never been heard of again. They never found her body. There had been some domestic violence kind of things going on with her husband. They had filed for divorce and canceled it. And then 2 weeks after she disappeared, he filed for divorce and filed for sole custody, which he won, of their 2 children. According to the police thing, they said that he's been cleared and he's not a suspect, but they've never found any sign of her. But that was way back when, and it's in Wisconsin. It wasn't in Tennessee. There are rumors that this family is a bunch of state hoppers, that they hop over the state line to get out of trouble or whatever. The dad is originally from Utah. The mom is originally from Wisconsin. They met later in Arkansas. He was a truck driver, and he met her, I believe, at a truck, like a gas station thing that's for truckers, talk about like Love's or whatever. They met and got married. I think their oldest son was actually born in Arkansas. His parents lived at the same property in Tennessee. His mom got sick and asked them to come take care of her. And they moved 13 years ago on this property and took care of her until she died. I don't know what she died of. But they've been in this house on this property for 13 years. So, yeah, they have a lot of addresses in different states on a record, but nothing recent. They've been here for 13 years. So I'm just trying to go through all the things that I've seen, like, oh, they've done this, they've done that. And again, I'm not taking up for them. I'm just telling you what I found out and what I think doesn't red flag me as a nobody on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. What do you got? What have you picked up out of this?
Basically, I'm trying to go with what law enforcement is saying. I trust law enforcement. Okay, I do, and especially in this case, they seem to know why they're looking where they're looking. All right, they have not ruled out the parents, but they don't seem to be laser focused on, oh, we think they did it. All right, what they're saying is right now they're still looking for this little girl. They're hoping she may still be alive and hurt somewhere in the woods where they can rescue her. That's what their focus is on. The abduction, they're aware of the abduction claims by the dad saying he thinks she was abducted. I think that's him saying, I can't cope with any other possibility, so this is what I have to go with. That's what I'm thinking, where he's coming from. I don't get any red flags from watching his news briefings and things that he's done. I don't think anything bad about the dad as far as his involvement in this. I believe he was at work. I believe he got home when he said he did. There were plenty of witnesses around already searching. He said neighbors were there already looking when he got home. They would have seen him come home, right? So I don't think the dad is lying. I don't think he was involved. Certainly if he was, law enforcement, they'll find out. They will find out. Right? Facebook is not going to find out. Law enforcement will find out. So I'm going to trust them and go with what they're doing right now. One of the things that there are 2 things that I keep seeing coming up, especially in the Facebook groups, is that she was barefoot. How far could she get? When you're 5 years old, you're a country kid, you're used to being barefoot all summer, you can get pretty far. You can. So I don't think her being barefoot is saying, well, she has to be on the property. No, she could have still gotten quite far depending on her state of mind and where she was going. Could she have been picked up? Sure, she could have. Absolutely. Could she have wandered onto somebody else's property and they've got her somewhere? Sure. Law enforcement is looking. They even said that. They say, please check your outbuildings, please check your barns, your sheds, your basements, your this, check your own property. Please let us know if you find anything. They also said in an earlier press conference that they've been very lucky with response from neighbors and people in the area, letting them search their property without a search warrant. And he said, that's been wonderful. They've let us come on and search all the properties. And so they're looking at all those angles. They really are. So trust what law enforcement is doing. Certainly, nobody can fault the response of law enforcement. There are so many people out there looking for this child from 7 different states. So they're not skimping on their search by any stretch of the imagination. They are giving it everything they've got, full force, to try and find this girl. They've had infrared cameras. They've had helicopters. They brought in light towers. They had AT&T set up a cell phone hotspot so they could have better internet access while they're searching. They're sparing no expense looking for this little girl. And I just hope they find her, because now it's 6 days out. I'm not thinking the odds are really good, and it's making me sick to my stomach. We have someone in chat, Stephanie, who says she grew up with Summer's mom. She's saying that Summer was an outdoor-loving country kid. Yep, with country parents. We all grew up without shoes on. Yep, definitely. So
my boys, I'm telling y'all, I told y'all last night when we talked about this, Noah, my kid, you couldn't make that boy keep clothes or shoes on for love nor money. You get him up, you dress him up nice, you put shoes on. Before nap time, that kid was naked in the living room. Mm-hmm. I have picked that kid up from the nursery at church, and they're like, we had to make him keep his pants on again. It's just, until he stepped on a roofing nail on accident, that kid did not want to wear shoes. And then you couldn't get him to take them off. You have to make him take them off at night because he was terrified. So he did not want to go back to the hospital.
Yeah. And also, if you watch, the mom has a TikTok, Candace Wells or Candace Bly, something is her TikTok. There's a lot of videos of Summer playing outside, completely barefoot, splashing around in the rain, swinging on a swing, jumping in the water. I mean, she's outside barefoot. This is a rough and tumble country kid. She's not afraid of going for a little walk barefoot. She's really not. And somebody mentioned that they were surprised that she wasn't taught not to leave the property. Well, her dad said that. She never leaves the property. She knows better. But maybe something happened and she just got mad enough and took off. We don't know. So
what if she did get, we don't know. What if her brother said something to her on the way downstairs? You know how kids are. What if her mom did yell at her? I don't know, over something stupid. You got to go inside now. We got to do blah, blah, blah. She just didn't want to, It could be anything. But, no matter what you say, obviously I don't know them. I don't have a dog in this race. I'm praying like crazy that they find her. And I really hope that nobody is in this. You know what I mean? I hope this is an accident. I could be wrong. But I'm telling you, God is my witness. You will pick my jaw up off the floor if we find out the dad had anything to do with it. I just don't. He would have fooled me. I'm telling you.
Yep.
I can't make many comments about mom or grandma or anybody else because they haven't given an interview, and that's their right. And to be quite honest, I don't know that I would either, because look at the Facebook groups, look at other channels. It doesn't matter what they do right now. Nothing is satisfying the public.
Right.
If they don't make a statement, they're being shady. If they make a statement and don't word it the right way or stand the wrong way, have the wrong person in the comment, they're horrible. Dad went back to work. I'm seeing him raked over the coals because he went back to work today. Y'all, after this year and COVID, he works construction. He hangs drywall. He has probably just recently went back to work. Do they look like they have a ton of money? Absolutely not. Do they probably need him to go back to work? I would bet on it. If my husband was out for an extended amount, this would not be a good thing. If there is nothing they can do, the police are not allowing them to search. He is staying at home. He's saying he's not sleeping. He can't stand to be alone. He's going and talking to the police at night just to be in the room with law enforcement in case something comes in. If that's true, I mean, obviously take it to a grain of sand. I could understand why you would go back to work. With a hammer and nails, I'd be hammering something too. It would probably be therapeutic. I would be losing my mind if my kid was gone for a week. they're asking him in interviews, do you think she's alive? And he's saying statistically it's not looking good, but I'm hoping that she is. If I, as a parent, on day 4, when he gave that interview, talking about we don't know if she's alive, maybe somebody picked her up, I think maybe she was abducted, would that really be far from your mind if you have nothing to do with it? You have no leads that have checked out. Where would you naturally go on day 4? Oh my God, what if somebody picked her up? I don't think that's a bridge too far, even in an innocent person. I just don't.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah. I'm really. I'm not sure. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am surprised at the vitriol being thrown at the family, especially the dad.
Yeah.
We can tell from the property and the pictures and stuff. They're not a wealthy family, and he's got 3 boys to feed. They have to pay a light bill and all this other. He can't not work for an extended period of time, or they're not going to eat. Sure, people in the area will probably send them food and this and that, but who's going to pay their light bill? Who's going to put gas in their car? Who's going to do that kind of stuff? There are those real world concerns don't just stop because there's a missing child. Unfortunately, I wish they did. I wish law enforcement could say, we're going to cover your bills for the month while you're off and we figure this out. But that's not how it works. So him going back to work, I don't see that as a horrendous thing. It's not something I would choose to do in a position where I didn't have to, but I kind of think he probably has to, but.
Just look at another case, and another thing just popped in my head. Tell me if I'm wrong. Have you seen a GoFundMe go yet?
No, there is not a GoFundMe.
That's another one on the list. Look at Maya Maletti. She's been missing for a couple of months now. Her sister and her brother-in-law, so her sister and her husband, have completely stopped working, have gotten this camper, and are moving heaven and earth to keep searching for Maya. And they have said it was a good thing that they had savings or they would have never made it. And to the point where they have had to open a GoFundMe. And I'm not faulting that one bit. Don't take that comment as criticism, because it's not. Absolutely. If you can go donate to that, do it, because that family is working their tail off to find that woman. Tail off. But if you all think these are a bunch of money grubbing nobodies who've killed their daughter, where's the
I don't see
GoFundMe?
it. Don't see it.
I don't. But like I said, I'm not even taking up for him. I have no idea. I'm just not going to say, and here's why. I'm not going to say she's dead and the parents did it. Because what that says to people, especially in the community, if they think, oh my God, everybody thinks that they did it, they must know something I don't know. And something looks out of whack around town, when they're out and about. If they think they see maybe that little girl, or maybe they've seen her with somebody that's not her parents, they will completely discount that and not call it in because, oh, well, she must be dead because her parents did it. That doesn't help. And God is my witness. If somebody has hurt her, her family, a stranger, a family friend, whatever, I'm in Tennessee, put me on the jury. Put me on the jury all day. I don't put up with people that hurt kids. That's what I talk about on this channel. I am all about scrutinizing law enforcement and CPS, child abusers. I've worked with domestic violence people. That's my button. You want to hit my button, you hurt a kid. I'll talk about you all day long. But I don't see it here until there's something, evidentiary that comes out, or law enforcement starts acting like they're suspicious of the family. I've got to believe they know more than I do.
Yes.
And that they've checked the stuff.
And
that's all I'm saying. Just give them a break.
We do call it when we see it.
Yeah.
Right. If you know Jess and I and you know our history, we will call it when we see it. If we thought that we were seeing red flags in the interviews with the dad and all, we would be sitting here telling you that. Look at Jess's video on the Caleb Wisnan case. She went through that interview and was like, oh, no. This is not an innocent person. So, yeah, if we see that, we'll call it. But we're not seeing that right now. We could be wrong. We've been wrong before. We're not experts. Nope. But I'm not feeling that. I feel like these are parents. They may not be parents of the year, whatever. CPS will deal with that. But I'm not getting anything other than their little girl has gone off somewhere. They don't know where, and they want to find her. And so does law enforcement. That's what law enforcement is saying and doing. Let's trust it. Let's all send prayers that she is found and she can be, if she broke her leg or something, they can get her to safety and get her help. And she's okay and she's still alive. Let's pray for that. We'll deal with what happened and why it happened later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there has been law enforcement involved from 4 hours on. So you had better believe if somebody hurt that little girl, they're going to have evidence that they will be brought to justice. And, that's my gut feeling anyway. Nobody's perfect, just because they're poor and they don't make the decisions that you would make as a parent doesn't mean that they abuse their kids.
Right.
This could be what we think is, oh, wow. Not we, because I don't think this. I live in East Tennessee. I see these people everywhere. It's not that unusual. People that live on land like that, on their own big piece of land, are private people. People criticize them. Where are all their family friends? Where's this and where's that? They might be private people,
Yeah.
It just...
And like the head
doesn't
shaving.
All point to negative,
Like people keep talking about her head being shaved. Okay, if a child has lice, especially if you have a house full of kids, one of the best things to do is shave everybody's head. Burn all the bedding, get all new bedding and all this other stuff. But even though, yes, they shaved her head when they could have treated it with lice treatments, maybe they couldn't afford it because you have to go buy it over the counter or whatever. But look what they did. They shaved her head, but they put all these pretty bows. Look at all the pictures with bows in her hair. Right? So it's not like they just shaved her head and were like, go deal with it, rotten kid, They said, no, here's a pretty bow to make you feel better because your head's shaved. So even that doesn't mean that they're horrible people or horrible parents. They probably shaved her head because they wanted to stop the lice infestation and then put a bow in it. And some of those bows are really pretty. So she was not quite that neglected as a lot of people are saying. And I don't think the head shaving is an indication of that. I don't. Even the mom's head shaved. So, she shaved her own head.
Devil's advocate here. This is the youngest child of 4 with 3 older brothers who also shaved their head from time to time. I've seen different photos of the boys with their head shaved in different variations. Who's to say she didn't want it?
Yep, that's true.
I mean, if she's really a tomboy, oh, you shaved his head, I'm next. I mean, really. I'm not saying that is what happened. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying, is that possible. A possibility? Yeah.
Yep.
If you really think that her having lice in her hair means that they killed her, take that one to court because it ain't gonna work.
Right.
I've just got to see more than she had lice.
But at the same time, the people yelling about her head being shaved are yelling about all the pictures where she had longer hair and it's all messy and knotted and tangled and dirty. It's like, which way do you want it? Come on, man. So, and they did look at the pictures from Christmas where she's in that pretty Christmas dress with her hair all nice and a little red barrette matching her dress. So, don't forget those things too. You can't just look at the negative without balancing it out with the positive things that we see. It looks like she was loved. She may not have been the cleanest kid in the world or whatever, but she wasn't. I'm not seeing signs of abuse. I'm seeing, some bad parenting choices, but, maybe CPS will help them sort it out. Remember, they have not removed the boys from that home at this point, which means CPS is not concerned that the boys are in harm's way, other than you probably got to clean this place up. But, So.
And if they need resources, parenting classes, somebody to come in and talk to them, they're going to get it at this point because the nation is looking. I mean, if there's 7 states, this has already made national news. CPS is going to dot their I's and cross their T's on this case because people are watching,
Right.
At this point, we're not going to get another Evelyn Boswell in East Tennessee for a long time, in my opinion. COVID is over. Tennessee is open as far as that, that thing is concerned. I don't think we're going to see anybody being skimpy on this case, in my opinion.
Yeah, and certainly law enforcement is not being skimpy. They are all over every inch of that land. So, if there's anything that we could do to help them, They were asking for donations of ice the other day, but what they had to do is they had to say, please stop sending us stuff because they got so overwhelmed with donations from the public to help the searchers. So they're in good shape.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye on Twitter. They are tweeting if they need anything. Maybe you could send ice. Maybe you could send money through, I don't know, Red Cross or something. I don't know. But we'll see. If they ask for something that we need, we'll bring it to you and be like, here, this is how you can help the search teams. So let's focus on that.
If you're local and want to do something like that, they mentioned, was it Mount Carmel Baptist Church is kind of the headquarters for everything. Call them. I mean, there's probably somebody in the office if everybody is there, and ask if they need something. Can you help? No, you can't help search. They might need people to help take care of, the day-to-day stuff that's going on over there. I don't know. If you're local, you can offer to do that if you just don't have anything else that you feel like you can do. That's always an option. But maybe let's keep our eyes peeled. Let's keep praying for this family because I feel so bad for them. And I'll be the first one if there's been foul play and the family is involved. Put me on a jury,
Yeah, but
I'm not
imagine
taking up for it,
imagine
but
they
I can't
find her. Imagine that they find her and they can figure out what happened, and we find out she did innocently just take off into the woods and met some misfortune, and the family had nothing to do. Imagine how we would feel then for this family. Okay, so that is still a possibility. So don't forget that it's quite possible the family had nothing to do with it. She innocently walked off, and something terrible happened. Let's hope that's
And think about what all's been drug out on social media. Everybody around them in their community now knows about the half brother because we've drug out his police record. The dad, we're talking about, when these kids go back to school, because she still has brothers, school age kids. You think this is going to be fun in the fall? We know what the inside of your house looks like. We know what's going on, this, that, and the other. Just once the information is out there, you can't take it back. Are we at Pandora's box kind of level? Even no matter what happens, it's going to affect this family. It's not going to go backwards. If they find her, people aren't just going to go. I doubt they'll get an apology, to be quite honest, even if they're found innocent. Well, they were probably still abusing her. I stand by what I said. That's what you're going to hear, in my opinion. And I'm just not ready to pick up a pitchfork and go after these people because, my God, I can't imagine what it's like to go to bed at night or try to go to bed at night knowing that that I haven't done anything, and my little girl is out there and I have no idea where she is and there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that feels like. I can't. I just can't.
Definitely. So, I feel for the family right now. I'm pulling for this little girl. I am praying. I mean, Jess and I were both up half the night refreshing Twitter, hoping they found her. Maybe today's the day, and I hope she's still alive. I think chances are getting slimmer with each passing hour, and that is devastating. But let's hope they find her. Maybe she is holed up in a cave somewhere near a river, so she has fresh water. I'm trying to think those positive thoughts for as long as possible, holding out hope. So let's focus on that. Once they find her, then we'll talk about what happened. Then we'll get more information and we'll be able to put pieces together. But for now, trust law enforcement. Trust what they're doing. Send your prayers to the search teams. Keep an eye out in case they ask for any more help or any more donations. We'll do whatever we can do. And let's just keep all of our fingers and toes crossed that this girl comes home safe and alive. So that's all we got.
Yeah. I don't think there's any point in beating the dead horse. I told y'all what I think about it in the different aspects. Like I said, I'll say it again. It's just my opinion. I'm nobody. I don't have a professional opinion. I just, I'm talking about it on YouTube, so people are talking about it because you don't want a missing kid case to go under the radar. That's the worst thing that can happen is you just see it go cold. So I'm here. I'm talking about it. We're talking about what the possibilities are, what the likelihood is, and my opinion, our opinion,
Yep.
So I think I'm going to end it at that because we covered the press conference and what I think about it. I could talk about this all dang day, but it's Monday. I've got to go get my kid from work I've got videos to do. Y'all,
Yep.
Ronnie O'Neill video is coming. That was lit today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Before we go, I want to address Stephanie in chat. Stephanie,
Okay.
Jess's email is in the description. If you
Yeah.
want to shoot her an email and talk about this, we'd love to have a chat with you. The press conference was earlier. If you go back earlier in the live stream, you'll see it. It was about 40 minutes ago. Very short and sweet. They just said they're still looking. They're focusing on search and rescue in the woods. They are not really focusing too much on the abduction. They don't think that's what happened. And they said, please call us with tips. Was it TBI tip? I forget the phone number. We'll have to get that and put it in the video.
TBI find.
That's it. TBI,
TBI
1-800-TBI find if you have any information. But please don't call them. They said themselves, do not call us with rumors you saw on Facebook. Please only call if you have credible information. So yeah, but Stephanie, please feel free to shoot Jess an email and we can have a chat. I would love to get to chat with you. So that's it. But yeah, Ronnie O'Neill, I am expecting the jury to come back any minute. Jess, how about you?
Any
Can't
minute.
wait.
Yeah, that man's going to have a death penalty case around his neck by the end of the day, in my opinion.
Yep.
Well, I guess they won't say it's death. He won't get the death penalty today. They'll do the penalty phase, but I completely expect him to be convicted by the end of the day. I don't think the jury did not want to pause for lunch during closing statements, and then they wanted to go ahead and get the jury instructions, and then they said, we'll work through lunch to deliberate, which tells me they don't
ready.
think they're going to be very long.
They're going to be home for dinner.
Yeah, I expect he was going to be convicted by the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I'm working on that video, and we'll have that up at the latest tomorrow morning. But my Patreon has some interesting things. I just uploaded a video over there. If you guys are interested in that, it's easy. There's been links during the live stream. I'll put it in the description box. I have not filled out the description box for this thing today. Come check out me and Awen on Discord. We're on the same server for all kinds of stuff. Go check out Awen's channel.
Yep,
Awen has a Patreon.
We have a hearing in the Vallow Daybell case on the 23rd. So I'll be live with that. That's just the day after tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
Yep. And let's just keep our fingers crossed, guys. Send any good vibes you've got out there, especially for the people searching. I know that today's weather is about to get ugly, and that's going to make things a lot worse.
Yeah.
So if they find her, I'm going to come back on here because that'll be a thing. I'm watching this like a hawk, guys. I've got all kinds of stuff popping up every few minutes. I'm watching it like a hawk. So
yeah.
Thanks, guys, for coming to my little impromptu TED Talk on Don't Be Judgmental All the Time. That's what I'm sorry. I'm trying to be funny because if you don't laugh, you'll cry. This is absolutely sad. I'm not making light of the situation. This is horrendous. But thanks, guys, for coming out of my impromptu press conference streaming. I wanted to watch it with you guys and talk about it. So anyway, I will see you guys next time.
Bye for now.
Bye, Awen.